everybody. Welcome to the Right or Die Show. I'm your host, Randi-lee. I don't know, it's bright and sunny here for me today. It was kind of bleh yesterday, so it's nice to have a bright and sunny, although it is like melty death hot out, which I'm actually still also okay with. So let's get all the boring stuff out of the way. What's boring in my life right now? Actually, you know what? I've got a complaint for the world. If you see somebody that has a disability parking ticket, don't tell them that they don't look disabled and they shouldn't have it, because it's none of your damn business. That is my complaint for the world. Leave people in peace. You have no idea what they're doing. Some disabilities are every day, some are sometimes, and when they flare up, they suck. So just mind your own business, because it's not your problem. That's my complaint for the world. So do better, people. Do better. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, because we always have so much fun here. And make sure that you are following on all the social medias and stuff, because we have the movie in progress. I'm going to be talking about it every single week. So goodbye too soon. The movie, it's coming along. In fact, look at this gorgeous script over here. It's gorgeous and ginormous. Yeah, that's happening. So the script, we have locked it in. We're good to go. We are working on storyboarding and, of course, looking for sponsors still. That's where all of you fabulous, lovely people come in. Yay! So on the website, there are ways that you can support. And, of course, we'll give shout-outs to everybody because we love you. So go on over rbwriting.ca. There's a little thing that says movie. Really easy to find, right? Movie, click. And you can stay up to date with what's happening and, of course, help us out because it's coming along and I'm so excited. Anyways, enough rambling, because I do that, especially I'm like super wired today. Almost like I've had a bajillion coffees, which I haven't because coffee is gross. Although I did have one like little bit of energy drink. Not like one of those sugary ones, like a not sugary one. Anyways, I'm a little hyper today. I also had 12 hours of sleep last night because I was so tired, and you can tell. All right, let's welcome Justin Anderson, or by his pen name, I'm going to say it wrong. He just told me to. Valoran?
Valoran.
Valoran. I knew I was going to say it wrong. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
I am pretty good. Clearly, I'm very hyper. I should have just went with your normal name because I knew I was going to mess it up. Because he's like, oh, I don't care which one you use. And I'm like, cool, just use both. Shouldn't have. So where are you visiting us from?
I'm visiting you from Muncie, Indiana.
Oh, very nice. How's the weather out that way?
Today ain't too bad. Then, like the day before, we had like a pretty bad storm. And then before that, like you said, it's just been horribly hot.
Yeah, gross and sticky, and at least here the humidity is horrible and it like slaps you in the face as soon as you walk outside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you get in
like
your car.
you like chew the air. Yeah. But you know what? I would take it over winter any day of the week.
I'm right there with you.
So tell us a little bit about who Justin is.
Well, I am a network engineer by day, a father of 2 with twins on the way, and a husband.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have 4?
Yeah, the twins was not. I was expecting 1, but not 2.
I feel like that's normally the case with twins, right? Are there twins running either side of your family?
Well, apparently on her side, not mine. I wanted to know who had the twins when I found out we were having twins, because the doctor kind of shocked me. He said it so casually. Oh, yeah, you're having twins. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Hold up, back it up. That's funny.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
and he was looking for a third. I was like, oh, no.
No triplets. Oh, my gosh. I couldn't even imagine. Singles for me, I'm good. Just babies are a lot of work. We tease my sister-in-law that she will have twins if she ever has kids, because both of my in-laws are twins. So she's got a real high probability there.
Oh, man.
Yeah. She can keep them, exciting. Though. We're done having kids over here. We got 2. They're grown. We're done.
It's exciting, but at the same time, it's a whole different thought process because when you have the first one and then you have the second one, you're like, I've been through this. I know what to do. I already got baby stuff that I may be able to reuse.
Yeah.
And you go down that route. And then I heard twins, and I was like,
Now you need more baby
we don't
stuff.
we don't have two of that. We would need a double stroller because two strollers trying to push it. You just start doing the math, and it's like, oh my God, this is gonna be different.
So everybody go to my the baby shower registry thing and start buying.
Pretty much is what it feels like.
Oh my goodness. When are they due?
At the end of next month, so
Oh my
close.
gosh, that's soon.
Yes.
Wow. You know what? Because I was pregnant through the summer way back when, and it sucked. So at least she'll be not pregnant the whole summer.
Yeah, she's been pretty miserable.
Yeah.
She's been super hot. And she's just like, this is not what I wanted as far as to be pregnant. Because our first child together, she was pregnant during COVID, but it was over the winter. So.
Oh, not so bad.
Exactly. Now, it was horrible for me still because she froze me out. Like, I deal well with the cold because I'm typically hot, but oh my gosh, I was shivering, had like 3 blankets.
Well, you can always add more clothes on, and once you get down to the final layer, you can't take your skin off.
Valid point. So, yes.
Oh dear. Well, good for her. She'll be done soon enough.
Yes.
And then just gets the running around after that part.
Correct. And the shift in more than likely vehicles, because we've been looking, and yeah, we talked about it. And originally she was like, yeah, I'm not a minivan mom. And now we're looking like, yep, minivan look good.
Yeah, because there's going to be way too many baby seats up in there now.
Yep.
Yeah. We bought a Ford Flex, 10 years ago, when they were out there. It is the best, like, not minivan, but they don't make them anymore. They're so hard to find now because they stopped making them, but everyone I've ever known who bought one loves it. I'm like, they need to bring it back. It's so good.
But that's why they're not going to bring it back, because it's like, oh, well, then you would want to buy that and not buy anything else the rest of your life.
Right? Ours is still going. It's got over 300,000 kilometers on it, and it's still trucking. Yeah, it's a lot. But
yeah, you don't find vehicles like that anymore.
My husband's a mechanic, though, so sometimes he just makes stuff do, and he's like, I wouldn't do this for a customer, but that's all right. We're just gonna get this doing. Everything is safe, but yeah.
That's the best way to be, when you can you can do that to your own stuff, but other people's stuff, it's like, I wouldn't do this for you, but yeah, I would have just made that work.
Exactly. All right. Well, I guess we should actually get to the topics at hand here. So, on the show, we like to talk about mental health and all that fun stuff that goes along with it. I always like to say, you start your story wherever is going to make the most sense for you, and I'm just going to randomly interrupt you when I have a question.
All right. That sounds pretty simple. Well, my story kind of starts with, I decided I needed a side hustle, as most people do nowadays.
Yep. Well, especially with twins on the way.
Exactly. I was like, yeah, I probably could use extra money. And I've been writing for 20 plus years. I've never did like the writing classes or courses or anything, but I've just always been writing. And I was like, well, I'm pretty good at writing, and I seen the pretty much a trend that was going on, and that was like the systems trend, where they have the system and it gives them some kind of superpower and everybody else. I was like, I could do this. And I sat down, started writing, was like, okay, 4 friends, 4 swords, go kill the Demon King. Simple story, simple turnout. Yeah. And as I started writing, I noticed that, my characters are not action type characters. This isn't like the, cool, non-speaking character. My character.
Oh no. Your character is what? What?
dealing with grief or dealing with their own mental health in a very healthy manner. And the more that I wrote, the more that I realized this is me internally. This is what I'm feeling.
Isn't that shocking how that happens? You don't think a character is you, and you're like, oh, no, this character is me. Damn it.
It is. And it was eye-opening because as I continue to write the characters, I realized a lot of this were things that I thought I've dealt with over my life, over the last
What kind of
18
things?
years. When I was in high school, 10th grade, I lost my my grandmother was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer.
Ooh.
And that was my first real experience with death or anyone
Yeah.
in the and really was close to on that level. So it really impacted me over the next couple of years because she passed away my 12th grade
Oh, my.
year, first semester.
Were
And
you guys really close?
yeah, she was the first person to hold me in the world.
Aw, that's so sweet.
And it's it was definitely impactful for me in a way of I didn't know how to grieve during the time. You know, the stereotype for males: you don't cry, men aren't vulnerable. You know,
Yeah.
toughen up, and that was the society and environment I grew up in. So for me, it was I didn't know how to handle those emotions. I'm a very emotionally deep person and empathetic, like my mother. So
Okay.
those two things are very polar opposite of what I should be and how I am. So,
Okay.
yep, I felt myself just extremely angry because anger's allowed, you know, as
Yeah,
a
men
male,
can be angry. Yep.
but you're not allowed to cry. So I was just so angry all the time because of the fact I wasn't able to really deal with those emotions. And that led to me kind of blocking any type of ability to express those emotions. I wasn't at the point of talking about it in, you know, first person. So in
Okay. Yeah.
I use normally to make it simple for people, I use the phrasing, you know, grief has two doors. It has an I door and an E door. So internal and externalization.
Oh.
And I wasn't able to go through the I door. I wasn't able to say, I'm sad, I'm hurting, I've lost someone I loved. And I was trying to go through that door, and that made it where I experienced writer block during that time. I couldn't write poetry. I couldn't do anything because that just how I couldn't process it that way.
I
So
like that
fast
for two
forward,
doors.
I appreciate it. So fast forward 18 years later, and when I'm writing this story and everything started to come out, and I'm realizing this is tying back to my grandmother's loss, I realized that why it was flowing out like, you know, almost like a dam breaking was I felt my way through, I stumbled through another door, which is externalization. I was externalizing what I was feeling internally onto my characters, and that made me be able to process that. My character's Vincent, which is similar to me, he feels very deeply. He feels other people's emotions. He doesn't deal with his own personal emotions well. And
Yes.
my character started to become these really deep characters where I can see my environment and my life affect and build them. They started taking on mental illnesses, and mental health became the core magic system of the world. And
Okay.
when you handle your mental health in a proper way, your thread, which is your soul in my world,
Yeah.
will heal, and you can basically kind of repair yourself. So your magic and your
Okay.
mental health is a balancing act. If you
Yeah.
are doing things, suppressing things, not handling, stress, you're dealing with maybe survivor's guilt and things, and you're blaming yourself, your thread begins to fray.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it harder to deal with your magic. It makes you more susceptible to the hollowborn in my world, which are the closest things to monsters. They're a
Okay.
manifestation of grief and trauma that bleeds
Mm.
back into the world because the
Kind
cycle
of
of life
sounds
and
like they
death.
don't have a soul.
It would,
Like
yeah, it would be
hollow
similar.
born, right? Like you're hollow, so you don't have a soul.
Exactly. And the I wanted my world to function kind of as a representation of how mental health really works, not just the way that we see it on TV and media,
Mm.
where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, there's this mental health piece here, and then all of a sudden, now that the plot moved forward and it did what it needed to do, you forget about it. So,
What do you mean that's not how real life works? We totally just have a plot move forward and then we're no longer depressed or grieving or anxious or whatever.
exactly, it's amazing how that just disappears. And that became kind of the soul of the writing, which also that I found tied into my mother because she spent 30 plus years working as a case manager for
Oh.
mental health facility.
Oh,
And
okay. So it was always sort of in your home, but I mean, even still, back in the day, men still weren't allowed to cry. So even then, even though it was in your home, it was still stereotypical in a sense.
exactly. And
Okay.
while my mom may have understood, you know what was going on, the males around me, and I didn't really have male role models, so I mean just the males out in society. I do have a brother, and
Okay.
but no father figure.
Okay.
But all of them, still, it was that same perpetuation of that stereotype of you don't cry, you're not vulnerable,
Yeah.
and you embody that, and you don't realize it sometimes. And I didn't realize that I embodied my mother's philosophies on mental health, where she taught me you don't really know, you wouldn't know this person necessarily had a mental illness unless
Yes.
they're not able to, during that time they're having a bad time. If they're managing it, they're
You
just like
never
another
know.
person. And
Yes. Oh, I feel like I'd get along with your mom.
oh, I'm sure you would. My mother, she taught me so much. In my first lesson, which it's one of those where it's embarrassing when you get older and you think back on it, but
Ooh, I want to hear it now.
it really did shape me. I had a friend, and his cousin was mildly autistic,
Okay.
and if you grew up in the 90s and before, you know that when they showed mental health, it was always depicted in a very, very horrible stereotype way.
Yeah.
Normally, like drooling, straitjackets, like non functional.
Yeah.
And I was extremely a competitive child. So when I found that out, I was like, well, I don't want him on my kickball team. I don't want to lose. And
Mm.
not understanding, what it was, because I'm going by what I seen on the media, TV,
Of course, yeah.
not the internet, but TV, because I may be dating myself, but we
Right.
wasn't,
Us
it was,
1900s babies. We didn't have the internet so accessibly ready.
so I didn't want him on my team, and this made me and my friend fall out, rightfully so. And my mother pulled me to the side and she asked me what happened. When I explained, she was like, so what difference does that make? I'm like, well, I don't want to lose. He's going to be like, she's like, you don't you wouldn't even probably know. And that doesn't mean that he can't play kickball. That doesn't mean that he can't function. That just means that you may have to interact with him slightly differently because what stimulates him and how he may react to the things may be different from you, but that doesn't mean he's any less human or anything, or he's any less valuable than you are. And she talked to me and made me apologize.
As rightfully so.
Exactly, which helped to repair that relationship. And it taught me a lot. Now, it also taught me a very valuable lesson. He was not on my kickball team even after we replaced it. Because, there's still that moment of, well, I accept your apology, but this still burnt,
Right?
somewhat.
Yeah, it's like when people go, no offense, but... but
Yes.
you know it's going to offend. That's why you're saying no offense. So maybe just...
Exactly.
Okay.
And I want to note the fact he kicked my tail. He was a amazing kickball player.
I was
So-
kind of like, not that I wanted you to not do well, but like, you kind of deserved it.
I did, and he did. He was a amazing kickball player. So I learned that lesson early on, and that shaped how I started interacting later on and what I believed. And it made me that, when people pass judgment, I'm like, yeah, let's not do that because you don't really know.
Yeah.
And that shows a lot in my story because all my characters. So one of my characters, they have abandonment issues. One has survivor's guilt. One has PTSD. And they're all dealing with different mental health. Now, when I bring this up, because a lot of times when people think of mental health, they always pull to the extreme and they go
Yes.
to, okay, PTSD, cowering, hiding under the table, streaming. And they always skip the real little subtle thing.
Oh no, where'd you go?
With his left hand.
Okay, go back a little bit because you cut out the real little subtle things.
Yeah, the real little subtle things. So maybe he doesn't touch something with his left hand at all. Maybe whenever he reaches for you, he switches, he'll pause and then touch you with his right hand because there's some guilt under there for whatever happened in his past that's related to his left hand. Maybe when he goes to say certain words, he finds himself stumbling depending on what it is or what it involves with it, and he has to learn to route his language around it. Different little things really bring out the realness of mental illness and the realness of your characters. And
Yes. And we can, as readers, I feel like, anyways, and maybe that's just because I live with mental illness, we relate to them, and I feel like it makes the story better when the characters are real. Like, I'm all for... I'm reading some vampire smut right now, and I'm all for, characters that are wild, but it brings the reality when the backstory is something that has left them with some kind of mark of trauma or anxiety or something, and that plays through the book. I really like that with characters.
And I think it's important when you're doing that to do it correctly. And
Yes.
my goal is, I look at it like this, and this is the way I try to explain my writing process when I look at it. I want my story to be like a person. So if you're looking at it like a person, the world building would be the body. And you can look at the body and it's like there's all this amazing world to look at and explore. And then the underclothes would be mental health, where it's there, it's something that you can see, but only once you strip past the outer layer, which is the dark fantasy. And my hope is for people to read it, and someone like me, you, or therapist, or who knows about mental health may read this character and be like, oh, this character has survival skill. This character has this mental illness, and you can see it. And those who aren't familiar with it, it reads like a dark fantasy, but it opens the door for this conversation for people to be able to utilize these characters
Yes.
to now explain what they're feeling internally, externally, instead of having to say, well, I feel this way, and trying to get someone to understand your mental illness and how you function. You can say, hey, did you read that story? You know this character? Yeah, they went through this, and this. Well, that's how depression works. That's how I work. This is how I think. And
I
you
think
can
it really helps open up the conversation, for sure. Because, like, not that it wasn't always existing, but we weren't as prone to talk about it and obviously then add it into our texts of books, right?
Exactly.
So opening up that conversation is huge. And especially I find when we have the background, as in we've lived it in some regard, it makes it more real. And then even if we're reading, say, a dark fantasy, or vampire smut, you can not only relate to the character, but then if you like the book, you follow the author, and you're like, oh, the author has personal experience. And then to me, it just, you connect with it more. And of course, then you want to keep staying with whatever that author's writing.
And then you learn more. And by the end of it, you've learned so much about others and can maybe explain yourself better, because it's a process. And
Oh, yeah.
what, I talk to people, and I'm in therapy, and I've had therapists I didn't like, and I have a therapist I do like right now.
So that's a big topic. I mean, we've definitely talked about it a ton on the show. There's going to be ones that you don't connect with, and there's going to be ones that are fantastic. No one therapist is good across the board for every single person out there. So don't give up. If you find a bad one, that's okay. Go find a good one. Don't give up on them. They're good.
Yes. And
So-
the bigger thing
Yeah.
I found out is, when people think of therapy, they think of therapy as this one term that incorporates all therapists. So all therapists practice therapy. And
Yes.
the truth is, there's many different frameworks. There's CBT, ACT, IFS, narrative
ACT, I don't
therapy,
know that one.
action cognitive therapy, I think it is, if I
Oh,
and all of these handle and put you at a different starting point. CBT was the original one I started with, and that didn't work for me, but it also starts with a lot of being able to talk about yourself in how I feel this way. I found myself leaning more towards narrative therapy and internal family systems, IFS, which does a
Okay.
lot of externalization, starting out, reauthoring your own story, taking your story and looking at it from a distance. So removing yourself from the story and then looking at that, issue that you're having. And
I like
that's
that one.
that works for me. And this is why I think it's important to let people know, when looking at therapy, you are looking at a therapist you can get along with, which is one aspect, but also you need to look at what framework and maybe do a little bit of asking or research into that, because you may not like one thing, but this other framework combined with a therapist may be perfect for you, like what I found.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really big thing, I believe, for people.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Like I always talk about different ones, but that's great because you said ones I'd never even heard of. So yes. Love it.
And
Yeah.
yep, go ahead.
No, the floor is yours.
And what I've also tried to help people understand, because I've listened to a lot of people talk about their dislike of therapy, and I understand kind of in some cases where the uncomfortableness comes from. And I look at it as, number one, a lot of people don't know that you can just choose different therapists, that you don't have to just stick with that one. Then they don't understand that there's frameworks, which means that the way the therapist teaches you and interacts with you to help you understand yourself, there's different types that may be for you or not for you. But the other two things I've learned, and I understand why therapy can kind of turn people off, is when you look at it, there's a language barrier there. And when I talk to you, I can sit here and say, hey, I'm sad. I feel down. I'm not happy. I'm hurting. And you will understand that and be like, okay, well, maybe things will get better. Ask me what happened. You will interact with that. I go to a therapist and I have the same conversation. I come out with labels and stigma attached. Now I have depression. I have,
Yeah, before I went in, I wasn't sick. Now I'm sick.
Exactly. And it's that mindset. And now if I come to you and I say, well, hey, I have seasonal depression with a side of psychosis and schizoaffective manic. Yeah. It's a completely different feeling. If you know about it, you're like, oh, and you may be like, wow, but you still understand what that means. For some people, saying that, it's like, oh, you're crazy. Now they're judging you. They're looking at you differently. And who wants to feel judged or looked at in that manner?
Right, exactly. Yeah, well, I know when you said language barrier, it's like, okay, hold on, I gotta follow this, but that makes sense, right? It's the same kind of thing. Sometimes you don't go to the doctor because I feel fine right now. As soon as I go to the doctor and they tell me my blood sugar's high or my cholesterol something, then there's a problem. It's the
exactly
same thing. Except here's the thing: the problem already exists. They're just giving it a term.
Correct. And then the other portion that makes people, I feel, dislike it is, I call it the sanitized room concept when I explain it. So out in the world's dirty. Think of it like a dirty room. So right now, if I was to tell you something crazy like, oh, before our show, I went down the street and kicked 4 dogs, I may not feel that bad.
Uh-oh. Where'd you go?
So it's like my dirt compared to the other dirt.
Okay, hold on. You cut out right after you said I might kick some dogs. So I feel like we gotta go back a little bit.
I agree. But I look at, therapy. The other portion is a sanitized room. So I look at the outside world like a dirty room. And again, if I was to say that I kicked some dogs before our show started, it's horrible sounding, but if we were to Google something, we can find someone who did the same or worse.
Oh,
so
I see what you're saying. Okay.
It kind of makes you not feel as bad saying something negative or saying something bad about yourself. And this allows people to sit there, and you may tell your friends all the dirty secrets and everything.
Got to spill the tea.
Exactly. But now you go into a therapist's office, they can't make that room dirty. It's like clean. You don't know anything negative about them, and you feel like all your dirt, you're just looking behind like, I'm tracking mud and all this filth of myself into this room.
The one day in therapy, I asked my therapist, how many boxes of tissues do you go through a week? Because, I was always in there bawling my eyes out, using half a box on my own. She goes, oh, not even a whole one. I'm like, then what is everyone else doing? Or the other thing she would say is always, thank you for being so honest. I'm like, well, I'm paying you a lot of money. I really don't want to lie. Exactly. But I guess some people are still hiding stuff even when you're paying lots of money. I'm like, the faster I can talk to you honestly, the faster I can keep my money.
Exactly. And that what you just said, talking to you, that person being honest, is where this concept really pulls together, because you go in and you're looking at all the dirt you're tracking in. Well, you become self-conscious about that. So now I may have came in and been like, ooh, I'm not going to tell her I kicked 4 dogs because that sounds really horrible now. Maybe
Stop kicking the dogs!
Maybe I'll lie and I'll say 2. Ooh, two still sounds bad. Now I want to clean it up a little more. I tripped over the dog. I didn't kick it. I tripped over it, and it yelped. Okay, that sounds okay enough to where they won't judge me, but I can also talk about my problem somewhat. But the issue is you're not working on the actual issue you came there for. Now you move the goalposts, and now you're working through a completely different issue that really isn't your issue, and you need to work on what you truly need to work on to make any progress. So you leave the therapist's office. Now you're like, well, the therapist didn't do nothing for me. Well, no, because you were working on a completely different issue than what you really have. Me going around kicking dogs means I
Stop
probably
kicking
need to
the
be
damn
locked up. And I need to be locked up. That's it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But
Yeah. I like that. I've never heard it said like the clean room thing, but that makes total sense to me.
and that's where I've looked for language because small folklores, and I witness what other people are feeling, and then I turn that into a story in some cases. And this is where acknowledging and seeing how they interact, how they feel about therapy, how they feel about certain things has made me think about, how do I look at this? Why is this different for me, or is this the same for me? And one of the things that I did kind of as an experiment, but also because my world, I ended up finding out, ties in almost a one-for-one in certain cases with narrative therapy. I created like a journal to see, could this work this way? So using the lore from my world, I can explain how I feel, and then I coded it to where you can export it out in those different frameworks for your therapist.
Oh, that's so neat.
And what I'm hoping to do is to get the actual frameworks checked by legit therapists. So it's something you can use, but it's not a therapy approved yet. I'm working on building those partnerships, but
Which is so cool.
that's where I'm hoping it could reduce that friction, because for some people, the other friction is if I go to a therapist and I tell you my trauma and we don't work out, I have to go to a new one and relive that trauma again in
Which
a new one.
Sucks.
And you got to keep doing that until you finally find one to where you can work through that. And if I can get enough behind it and find the right therapist to validate it, well, the journal would work in a way of, you build a journal and, okay, well, let's say CBT didn't work for you. Well, you just the frame that they use, so they still understand it because this is what they do. And you tell your story once and just add to it. It's almost like giving a resume to therapists.
Which is so nice. I mean, when it comes to like autism, because I did something sort of similar. It was a nonfiction book though, about getting my kid diagnosed. At the end, I did resources where it was like, yeah, you're gonna have to tell 5 different doctors the same thing, and so write it all down here so that you have basically like a resume. Here you go, and you don't have to keep repeating yourself. That's a good idea for mental illness too, for therapists.
You pause for a moment. I heard write it all down here, and then
Oh yeah, write it all down, and then it's easy to give to the doctor or the therapist. I love that idea.
And was that something that people really liked about your book and liked about the advice?
I did get some good comments, because when you're new to the world of a child with a disability, you have no idea what you're doing. You don't know what facts are important. Like, they would ask things like, what was the first time she held a spoon? I'm like, I don't know. right? So then having it all written down, easily accessible to be able to give out when the next doctor asked and the next doctor asked, it was, yeah, it got some good feedback on that.
And that's the thought, because it makes it easier on you as well. And the part that I look at, where I wanted to make sure, since like I said, my lore aligns with therapeutic terms in some ways, is that it also, the wording can reduce the stigma feel. So instead of saying I have depression, as you were saying earlier, I feel hollow. Now,
like
you understand what that means, but it still feels different. And if you were to tell just someone out in the world, they'd be like, oh, you feel hollow? Oh, well, you feel sad. They can understand that, as opposed to depression. And there's a different kind of judge that comes with the concept of, either people don't understand how depression really works. Some of them think it means you're just really sad versus a mental illness, or something you have a mental illness and it's a different.
And even hollow describes it differently, and it describes it better, because just saying you're sad, you might be sad, but that is not what depression is. Like, I mean, obviously I'm talking from personal experience, but like the hollow word describes it much better than saying sad.
Correct. And that also has helped me be able to explain it to my family and my wife better, because for people who don't have it, they have a hard time understanding how much depression can affect your mind. And I was talking with my wife, and I was like, while I'm sitting here and I'm managed, I understand you love me. I understand the children love me. I very much know that. But when I'm really depressed, and I don't know about others, but I've kind of gotten to the point where I can feel how bad I am by how my thoughts work. Because when I'm sad, I'm sad. When I'm starting not to want to get out of bed and I'm losing interest, that's getting pretty bad. And then I hit this point where I call like passive unaliving thoughts.
Okay, yeah.
It's not that I want to act on it, but I'm okay if it happens. Like if you're driving and someone was to hit you, it's like, oh, if they just ran me off the road, I'll be fine with it.
I like that terminology, because I had a lot of those. I've had a lot of straight up ones, but the passive ones happen more frequently than the direct ones.
Correct. And then the next state for me are the direct ones, where I'm now actively thinking, what can I do to act this out? Which means that I'm at the worst as I can be. And it kind of helps me understand you want to reach out before you ever get to that acting point. So once I start looking and I'm not reacting the same way, where a semi kind of swerves toward me and I would normally be like, oh, whoa. Yeah. I'm just like, well, I'd have been okay with it. I'm like, okay, I need to.
Yeah.
Something needs to be done. And explaining to her, she was like, but we love you. Why would you want to be out of our lives? And I was like, well, as a male, a lot of times we're told our value is in what we provide and the protection. So for me, the equivalent exchange there was, my life insurance take care of them, it protects them. So why am I needed?
Yeah, that makes sense.
She couldn't understand how could I know she loves me and the children love me, but also think at the same time that's a good replacement. It's not, but in that moment it feels like it is. And
we have this really cool piece of merch on our merch store. Oh yeah, I'm just saying, go buy it. And my kid drew the picture. It's very cute. It's a dinosaur with a train coming out of its head, and it's "Don't believe everything you think."
Yes, and that is completely correct.
Your brain's a liar.
It is. And explaining people that you understand your brain is lying, but you still are acting on that lie is really hard.
Sorry.
And
Yeah.
this is where my folklore has kind of helped being able to write because words and allowing people to read it and they're like, I understand what this character is feeling. This is how I feel internally. This, you can kind of make that correlation to help bridge that gap of understanding.
Yeah.
And so that's where a lot of my work has kind of focused. I've written pieces. I'm actually writing a piece for a podcast that I went on that was about infertility and loss of, children,
Yeah.
using the terminology of a tapestry and a missing thread from it.
Oh,
And
okay.
it kind of talks about the woman working on this tapestry for 9 months and how beautiful it was going to be and how she decorates the room around it and everything
Aw.
until that thread in the tapestry is missing. And one of the things that really stuck with me about that podcast was on another podcast, she talked about how the thing that hurt the most is the people who interacted with her, not because they were saying necessarily anything mean, but they would ask, well, is this your first child? Well, how do I answer that? I had
Oh,
a
I've heard that before.
yes.
Yeah.
So, and then they don't understand. And then for some of them, it's like, well, but understanding that words, they do carry a lot of weight and a lot of impact.
Yeah.
And a lot of time what people are wanting is to be seen, or I say
Yes.
witness. Not, I don't want you to fix me, but just
I like to say you
listen.
just kind of sit in the shit with me.
Yes.
I don't need you to fix it. I don't need your advice. Just sit right here and acknowledge the fact that this sucks.
Exactly. And that is what people have the most trouble doing because it's uncomfortable. It's
Very.
uncomfortable to sit with someone and see the pain and be like, I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm not going to try to give you this toxic positivity or this dark humor or none of this. I'm just going to sit here with you. And when you cry or when you are speaking to me about very vulnerably, sit there with you in it and not rush you to get fixed, not rush you to feel better, but just sit and witness it.
Yeah, I love that. We are getting close to the end. I like that. Sit and witness it. I take quotes from everybody. I love it. So we're getting close to the end now, and you've said tons of good things, obviously. So what would be a piece of wisdom that you would that you would tell someone who is having passive thoughts?
The first thing I would tell someone who's having passive thoughts is, number one, you're forged, you're not broken. And I say that in the context because it's easy. The next thing I would say
Hold on.
is,
You cut out. So in the context, because it's
it's easy to say I'm broken or I'm the problem when you're that depressed. And feeling like you're the problem or you're broken is where I feel it becomes dangerous because you feel the fix is to remove the problem a lot of times or remove the
Okay.
broken piece.
Yep.
And so I would say you're forged, not broken. And if you are having those thoughts, I feel find someone or something that can help you get those thoughts out and either externalize it, or if you work internally work internally, but have someone that you can trust and have something. And for some people, it may be animal, it may be music, writing, therapist, loved one. There's a lot of different options. For me, I even got on my website, I call it Whispers of the Veil. And if you're having dark thoughts, you can go there and there's other people negative thoughts floating, so you're not by yourself even in your darkest of times.
That is good.
And the last thing I would leave you with is kind of a quote from my mentor Natasha. She helped me learn about my business and things from NAR Creative. She says that we are normally walking in parallel with someone, which means while you feel like you're just walking in this shitstorm by yourself, if you were to ever look over to your left or your right, there's someone walking that same shitstorm with you.
Oh, I like that.
You don't see it because you're looking forward and you're focused on yourself, but you're not alone. You are in parallel with someone. And sometimes that may be what it takes, just to realize that you aren't alone in something, and that could really change your view.
All right. Well, goodbye. No. Now is the time to promote. I mean, we've mentioned your book a few times. We know that it's dark fantasy, but what is the title? Where are people going to buy it?
Well, I like to talk about all of this just because my book is currently a work in progress. It is called Shadow Sword. It is a work in progress, but I do have folklore for people who are carrying invisible weights. A burning guilt that's for a firefighter. I have the lost thread coming for mothers who may have lost children. I have the weight beneath the ice coming.
And where do people read that? Is that just like on your website? Or?
Yes, it's all free. It's on my website. I'm on ValoranVerse.com. So ValoranVerse.com. They're all free. I pay to get them voiced by voice actors, which is
cool.
It's a little bit slower, but the folklore are up to read. But then there are some that are voiced, and it does make a very powerful difference for.
Believe it.
The pieces. Again, there's a memorial wall if you lost someone, child, loved one, animal, service member. Whisper of the Veil, again, for those who have negative thoughts they want to release. And then there's the thread journal, which is what we were talking about earlier, where so I try to make products just for people, to make people's lives better as I'm writing this book.
I love that. That is so kind. So yeah, everybody go check out the website, because that's where all the good stuff's going to be. And are you on some social media so we can follow along?
Yes, I am on pretty much every social media at J Valoran. Yeah, I was trying them all out, but I'm most active right now on YouTube, TikTok, Substack. Blue Sky again, and
we heard
Facebook.
Up to Substack.
So yeah, I'm pretty much on every social media, but I'm most active on TikTok, YouTube, and Substack right now at J Valoran.
Perfect. So everybody go follow, because it sounds like not only is this book coming along and going to be fabulous, but there's good stuff already.
Yes, and I've had actually a couple of therapists that have backed the concepts of what I'm doing, that it can be used in a therapeutic manner. So again, I'm hoping to testing to make sure it's safe, but overall I'm hoping that this will be something where it's not replacing therapy, but it could be a bridge for those who need help
Yeah.
and don't want or aren't quite ready for therapy, where it can be that middle ground before they
Yeah.
step into therapy maybe.
I love that. I feel like that's a piece that's missing. That little piece, right? Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Um, Everybody share these episodes out. We talk about some really cool stuff. And I mean, even though we've had 5 years, can you believe all this fun we've had together? We've had 5 years worth of episodes. There's still so much that can be discussed. Like Justin said, so many things that I'd never heard before. So I'm sure y'all haven't heard everything before either. So share these episodes out with the big wide world. We want to make sure that we're spreading the message. And make sure that you go follow Justin on all of the things and check out some of those folk. Bleh, I can't talk, man. Folklore. There we go. And other things he's got going on. It's the joy of a live episode is when I mess up and get tongue tied. Well, y'all get to hear it anyways. And remember, the only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly. Bye.